I'm going to tell you why Justin Fields is poised to make a Josh Allen leap in 2023, and it starts right now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page, man. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure to get in tune with us, man. So Justin Fields coming into this season has been compared to Jalen Hurts a ton, been compared to a lot of different quarterbacks who have made leaps. But I think there's one quarterback to me that stands out the most because the situation that Justin Fields is coming into, I think, speaks a little bit more to how Justin Fields has performed this season, or will perform this season, I should say. When I look at the history of what Justin Fields has done in the NFL, right? He comes in first year, Matt Nagy, they basically just say, go out there and try not to die, and it didn't work. He almost did die, basically. Second year comes in, a little bit more stability, but a brand new system. And here's where the similarities to me start to come in when we talk about Josh Allen. Remember Josh Allen, year two, right? There wasn't this great, oh my God, start to the season of that second season for Josh Allen, but it felt like he started to get a lot more comfortable later on in the season, very similar to Justin Fields. That's where we started to see Josh Allen make his strides. Now, listen, there still was a lot of issues. I believe that was the year where he had the playoff game where at the end of the game has an opportunity to win it, tries to lateral a pass left and like throws that mug halfway right into the hands of the defender, and they end up losing in the playoffs right when you thought that they could have gone on and won that game. But instead you see the Bills go on the losing end. Josh Allen, while he did improve that season, most of that improvement to me happened in the second half of the season, very similar to what we saw with Justin Fields. Now, the biggest difference here is that Brian Daboll had already been there a couple of years. He was working Allen into the system. Allen was more of a project type quarterback, where Justin was supposed to come in and be this guy that was a little bit closer to a finished product, but you also had to get him in a system that he was going to be in consistently and could learn. Now we're seeing him coming into the second year of this system, and I think that Justin Fields could take the leap because of the additions the Chicago Bears have made to the team. When I look at what Josh Allen and Justin Fields did at the same time, basically, I'm looking at this here, right? You're talking about stats year 2 to year 3. To me, I look at Josh Allen and the leap he took. This happens at the same time that they go out and they get Josh Allen some weapons. Some of the rookies on this team start to develop, right? They go out and they get Darrell Williams. I look at the offensive line first, and I think that's the first thing that really stands out to me. They go out, they get Darrell Williams, who was solid for them that year, right? They put him in at right tackle. He ends up allowing only 3 sacks that season. But the development of Cody Ford for them was really the part that I think really pushed Josh Allen over the top. Rookie campaign wasn't all that great. Second year doesn't allow a sack on Josh Allen, doesn't allow a ton of pressure on Josh Allen. And all of a sudden, Josh Allen now has a new shiny toy in Stephon Diggs that he is able to throw the football to. This is why I've started to make this comparison with Justin Fields. And this is why I believe Justin Fields can take this level of a leap, because when you look at the weaponry that is now in the building paired with what we're already hearing about the offensive line, and Luke Getsy talked about the offensive line and what the line was going to be able to do. We dropped a video on that and basically said that we're not scheming for anything, and we're watching these guys go out there and move as one, be able to get protection, be able to keep Justin Fields, you know, they're not tackling him at this point, but right, keep the defenders off of him long enough for him to make a play. Again, it's OTAs. It's not, oh my God, let's take this big leap of faith. But I've been saying this, right? The Justin Fields, to me, trajectory fits more of the Josh Allen story than the Jalen Hurts story, because realistically, right, that team was still built for some success. They added more weapons to it, but that team in Philly was already built for some success because they wanted Carson Wentz to be successful there, right? Nick Foles was there before that, and he was able to win a Super Bowl with a lot of the same players that were on that team. They re-up on the defense. All of a sudden on the offensive side, right, you're talking about a Bears Bears team, or you're talking about an Eagles team that finds itself back in the Super Bowl when they go out and they get A.J. Brown, add some more weaponry to that team. Those are the things that I look at with this Bears team, though, when I'm comparing it to Buffalo, when I'm comparing it, if I am going to compare it to Philly at all, is the fact that you went out and got basic weaponry. I think if you look at last season and you actually go through each one of the games, and most people aren't going to do that, right? If you're not a Bears fan, you're not going to sit down and watch tape on Justin Fields. Why would you? He threw for 2,000 something yards last year, did improve to 60% completion percentage, which is a step in the right direction, 17 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Why would you? But I think that's where you start to look at the similarities, where Josh Allen wasn't this amazingly efficient quarterback. He wasn't the guy that was throwing lasers. He wasn't the guy that was dominating the game with his arm. He was a guy that was making a ton of mistakes. He was a guy that, you know, even when he was making the right play, sometimes the weaponry that was on his team let him down. And so I think that the changes that we're seeing, especially when you dig into how Justin Fields plays and what Justin Fields wants to do, I don't care what Luke Getsy says. I don't care what he says in the post-game pressers. I don't care what he says in the OTA pressers. Justin Fields has said this a million times. I want to be a passer. I want to be a passer. Now, Luke Getsy is going to put the best play out there for them to win. Does that mean Justin Fields is probably still going to use his legs some? Of course it does. But the fact that Justin wants to be able to go out there and make these passes, and I think in a lot of situations, right, you also heard Luke talk about the situation where there were moments where he had to figure out to look for the pass. There were moments that he had to figure out that, yes, while you did make an amazing play with your legs, that pass was there. You have to trust the system enough to be able to go into that. I think that's what year two also brings. Again, when it was for Josh Allen, it was year three with Brian Daboll. He was able to go out there and all of a sudden the system clicks for him. Now he's dotting guys up left and right. Oh, by the way, it helps that Stephon Diggs is streaking down the sideline. I view this the same way for Justin Fields coming into year two of Luke Getsy's system. I've given you guys the numbers before on how guys have improved, guys like Jake Plummer, not just the Hall of Fame guys, right? Like guys that you look at where they've gone from being, 60% completion guys, 20 touchdowns, 19 interceptions to the second year of that system. All of a sudden you're looking at them at 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. They're being more efficient. They're picking their spots the right way. And usually in a lot of those situations, the weaponry improved. That's the other thing that goes into this. So to me, I think that the stars are finally aligning for the Chicago Bears. I think that the stars are finally aligning for Justin Fields. And it's a situation that I think really fits what is the timeline that Ryan Poles is trying to build all of this out as, because when you look at this team here, everybody is young, everybody can grow together. And that's exactly what we saw happen out in Buffalo on the offensive side of the football. I do want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. Do you believe that Justin Fields can take a Josh Allen level jump in year three in the NFL? I believe that he can. I believe that he will. I think this is going to be a phenomenal season for our quarterback in the Chicago Bears uniform. Let's hope that it happens week one, though, because Lord knows if he comes out and gives a dud week one, it's going to be pandemonium in the streets. But hey, like I said, let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I think here's another thing too. The one thing that when I look at from Justin Fields coming out of OTAs, right, the biggest question marks that we had, it seems like the coaches are saying without actually trying to say it, that this guy has improved on the things we told him to improve on, and it looks much better when you hear them talking about him going through his reads, when you hear them talking about him not just, making a decision to take off and go, when you hear them talking about how he's, okay, I need to go here, and I may need to make that decision quickly. That was my biggest issue with Justin Fields last season, even when he was making run plays, right? I've talked about this. Me and Kid have talked about this ad nauseum. Even when he was making the right play with his feet, there were often times where the right play where his arm was there and the pass was not made. Now, again, I'm talking about the second half of the season. I think that everybody needed that first half of the season to figure out what the heck people were, who Justin is, who Luke Getsy is. And I think by the second half of that season, you start to see, okay, we kind of figured out what we have. We figure out how amazing Justin can be with his legs. Let's try and work some of this in with the arm. And I think when they tried to work a little bit more in with the arm, there was that trust factor that came in that just didn't materialize for Justin Fields. I've said this a couple of times as well. Go back and look at the receivers that Justin consistently threw the ball to in the second half of the season. You will not find a name on there that is from from training camp. You will, or that is not somebody he threw to in training camp. Anybody that wasn't at camp, anybody that missed camp, Justin did not trust you to throw the ball to you. And that's a problem, right? Like that's you not trusting the system. There were plays to be made. There were plays that were there, but there's also that Kobe complex that comes in when Kobe had, he had Smush Parker, and he said, listen, I'm not giving you the ball because if I give you the ball, you're going to miss, and it's going to be on me. So I want to be able to go out there and make sure that we're going to be in the best position for us to win this game. How do I do that? I make the play. I take the ball. I'm the one that goes out there and does everything I can to put us in the best position to win. And then every now and then I'll try to go to you guys. I feel like that's the situation that he really got in with his wide receivers last year. And the fact that the Bears were actually a pretty good run blocking team, good schemed run team. I mean, even when Monty was in there, Herbert was in there, right? Like the Bears always, they were, I believe, second best based on what website you go to. I've seen this change a bunch of times, right? They were either the best or the second best based on, depending on, right, what metric you're looking at. But they were a top run team in the NFL. So you knew, and listen, and you knew the Bears were going to go with that because last year, if you guys remember, in preseason, in training camp, and OTAs, Matt Eberflus said, we're going to be a run heavy team. Why? Because you had to figure out what Justin Fields could do, and you didn't want to get this kid's head taken off and destroy his confidence. Now, 55 sacks later, doesn't seem like that worked. But again, the other thing that I pointed to, which makes this kind of a Buffalo Bills situation, is the fix of the offensive line. Darrell Williams was brought in. Cody Ford able to improve. Very similar situation to what we have here. We got Darnell Wright at that right tackle spot now. He's the new young buck trying to figure it out, but at least Justin can see that side, right? You've got Nate Davis who was brought in. That's supposed to be, right, our Darrell Williams, who's going to be the guy that assures up that right line. Braxton Jones, he played okay last season. I didn't think he was amazing. I thought the bull rush dominated him, and he played against a lot of guys that could bull rush, but he played okay last season. Let's see if he can take that next step. And if he can take that next step, right, very much like Cody Ford, not allowing a single sack, not being pushed back into Justin Fields, I think that now you're talking about, okay, not only is the weaponry in the building, adding DJ Moore, bringing in Chase Claypool, who seems like he's gotten his attitude in order, he's gotten his mindset right, and he's going to be able to finally lock in with what his expectations are and with what Justin Fields' expectations are of him, and be able to take a little bit of a step here. And again, really just get back to the guy that you were in Pittsburgh, right? Like you're a number 2 option on our team. We just need you to be big and come down with the football. That's really all I'm looking for from you. But I think that, right, in situations like that, I look at, again, very similar to what Buffalo did to insulate Josh Allen. Notice I said this, insulate, because they were going into that season very much thinking the same thing. Listen, we hope Josh is the right guy, but if Josh isn't the right guy, we still need to have pieces in place for the next guy who's going to be the right guy, hopefully, right? That's what the Bears are trying to do here with Justin Fields. We all hope Justin is the right guy. Nobody's sitting here telling you, I'm telling you that he's going to take a leap. Nobody wants him to fail. But what the Bears are doing here is what good teams do, what the Niners do, what the Patriots have done in the past. We're going to insulate the situation that we're in so that if he's out there and he could be the best player that we have, we love it. We're living with it. We're so happy to have that. But if he is not out there, okay, he's not out there, we need somebody else that's going to be able to plug into that position. We need that next guy. Who's that next guy going to be? We've still got these things in place. DJ Moore is still here. Chase Claypool still here, right? And Deontay Foreman, Roshan Johnson, rookie, right? Like Tyler Scott, Darnell Mooney. You've still got these pieces in place. You've still got that offensive line in place. And I think that those are the things that really set a quarterback up to be successful, to be able to take that leap. And if anybody, I swear, the people that are just like, well, Justin couldn't throw the football last year, without looking at the situation, to me, that's an inaccurate assessment of who Justin Fields has shown that he can be. And I know the results are what the results are. And me and Yurko talked about that over on the Chicago Bears podcast. By the way, tune in today. Yurko going to be back in there today. And I know that we talked about that over on the Chicago Bears podcast, that, you know, I forget who was making the assessment last week, but that, you know, the numbers are what they are, and there's truth to the assessment that passes weren't completed, and this is why. But at the end of the day, you have to look at the situation in which the receivers dropped passes. You have to look at the situation in which they were figuring out what Justin Fields was. And once they figured that out, all of a sudden you're seeing a guy who not only can pass the football, but can score 30 points a game. What was that, 6 games in a row last season? Like, come on. It's asinine to sit here and try and critique this guy based on the 1 year in the first system where you gave him nothing to work with by design. And he still was able to put up 30 points. So I see a big leap for Justin Fields coming this season. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. As always, man, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching all our Chicago Bears content. Click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. And if you're only here for the Bears content, make sure you're tuned in to the Chicago Bears Breeze. That link will be on the screen as well. As always, man, y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. Peace.